Hello, and welcome to another episode of Eat In with Adam and John, me being Adam. Today we are going to make a dish that I found is awesome. I mean, I was so shocked that this dish is so awesome. And what it is, the secret, is pumpkin and feta. Who would have known that mixing pumpkin and feta together would be awesome? I never would have guessed. So that's what we're going to do. Specifically, it's pumpkin feta with rice to 400 degrees and set it on bake. And then forget about it for a little while. Next, we want to do a little sautéing. So I'm going to put approximately a tablespoon of oil into a little pan. You can kind of guesstimate it. It doesn't matter as long as it's not too much. You don't want too much. And the first thing I'm going to cut up here is some garlic. So you need 1 clove of garlic. And after the garlic comes some onion. You need 1 medium-sized onion. This was a large onion that I'm going to use just what's left over. So now that it's in here, I'll turn the heat up to above medium and let the onion and garlic start to saute. And basically you'll want to cook this until the onion starts to become translucent. Now while that's going, I want to start with the rice. Now, you can get whatever kind of rice you like and make it however you want. What I like to use is long grain rice. And the way I make it is I take 2 cups of water and 1 cup of the rice. And then I put that on high and I let it start to boil. I use a cube of vegetable bouillon that I get at the store. And just put that right on in there. I also have the pumpkin. And this is 4 cups of chopped pumpkin. And you of course can use fresh pumpkin as well. And then you just pop it in the microwave. And you want to cook it till it's soft but still firm. So I'm going to go for 5 minutes. We'll see how that goes. Alright, so now my rice is boiling pretty good. So I'm going to turn it all the way down to low. And I'm going to put the lid on. And then I'm going to set my timer here for 20 minutes. And then I can forget about the rice. The world famous feta. So I just need to chop the feta up into nice sized chunks. Not too big, but not too small. So I'm using 8 ounces of lovely feta cheese. Alright. So my onion, as you see, is pretty translucent. So I don't need to cook it any longer. I'm also going to need a cup of baby spinach. I know it's cruel, but baby spinach is just better than regular spinach. That sounds like the pumpkin is done 5 minutes of cooking. Now I check the pumpkin. It is, yeah, it's firm, but it's still keeping its shape pretty well. I'm going to take a pixie sheet, give it a quick light spraying of some spray oil, and I'm going to put the pumpkin on it. And then I spread this out so that it's a nice little single layer of pumpkin. And I'm going to stick it in the oven that was set at 400 degrees. And I'm going to let it cook for about 5 minutes. What I want to do now is chop it up a bit so that it's not quite so big and leafy. I don't need to chop it up too small, it doesn't, because it'll be fine for the recipe, but I do want to chop it up a little bit. Nice and hot and steamy. You'll notice there's a few bits that look like they might have been thinking about burning. And that's probably about the level you want it. You don't want them totally browned over because then, you know, they just get kind of crusty. So, what I'm going to need to do next is I'm going to take half of this pumpkin. I'm going to mash it up. I'm sure there's plenty of ways to do this, but I'm old-fashioned. I'm going to use the all-powerful fork. So just sort of guesstimate about what half of it is. It actually smells a little more aromatic coming out of the oven than it did coming out of the microwave. That's the rice, so I can just turn the heat off. I'm done with the rice. While I'm mashing the pumpkin up, I'm going to take the feta. I'm going to put it on a pan. Ha ha ha. Never point the knife at you and go, woo! Alright. So you should watch my show to learn what you should do and to see me do what you shouldn't do. So again, you just spread the feta out so it's just one nice layer. And then I'm going to put this in the oven. So I don't forget, I'm just going to set it for like 3 minutes maybe. You really do not want to overcook the feta. You're just trying to heat it up a little bit. For that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the pumpkin to, that's all mashed up, I'm going to add it to the rice. And I'm also going to add, you remember the onion is also getting added into the rice. So you can see some of the pieces, how it sort of melted down a little bit, but not too much, because you don't want the feta to be totally cooked. Mixing that in. Now I add the spinach. Get all that in there. Now, should your pot be not quite big enough, you can always just transfer it to a bowl. You got the onion mixed in, the pumpkin mixed in, the spinach mixed in, and it looks really nice. For the rest of the pumpkin as chunks. So that people can really get that pumpkin taste and the wonderful feta. The secret that makes this dish so unbelievable. So you got your sweet pumpkin and your salty feta, and this is just awesome. You really, really have to try this. So I recommend making it. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Eat In.